Alright, it's your boy T Duck, aka Quack Group for the Ladies Dream Come True. Hope everybody's having a wonderful evening. Today, I would like to present discipline and how important discipline is. Discipline isn't just scolding or punishment, but discipline is also a routine, a regimen, staying on course. So that's how I will be dealing with it in that manner. Because I think we get combobulated with all these, I'm looking for a word, isms, so to speak, and we don't really hone in or stay true to the necessary things that will uplift us. And we have to keep in mind that a lot of people aren't knowledgeable or even studious or qualified to, give us the answers we need. We always looking for the answers in the wrong places. And I think that comes from a lack of discipline, a lack of knowledge, a lack of skill, a lack of aptitude. And it's hard to disseminate the real from the fake when you're bombarded or, you're always putting your trust in someone without vetting them properly. And, that's not just the person, but the information. And I think we've stopped ourselves or Mando for real. I think we've stopped ourselves from actually experiencing any type of success because we're always trying to be archaic or do things how they were done back in the day and not understanding that yesterday is not today and technology and other, what's the word I'm looking for? Not only technology, but there's numerous variables that we can deal with. And we have to understand that the solution isn't going to be something that we could just oversimplify and deal with and move forward without discipline. Discipline is what gave us the disciples in the Bible. Discipline are those who are taught, and they state it's strict. It's strict in its formation. It's staying on course, regardless of what external or internal cues, whether it be environment, whether it be mental, but it's being in control of how you function from your day to day. And I see a lack of discipline, a lot of grown men acting like children, a lot of horseplay, you know, when we should have our eyes on the prize. We convolute everything by making it, a relationship issue, a gender war, you know, victimization, but that shows a lack of discipline. You know, mathematics is a beautiful thing because it presents a problem, but it also allows you to solve it if you know the mode of operation. And I think when it comes to this consciousness, just like in mathematics, these brothers may be presented with an equation, but they don't know the mode of operations. So they can't solve. They only could glamorize, romanticize, and deal with it on a surface level. They really can't get to the grassroots and build up. They just have talking points because they're not necessarily, what they spew is heartfelt. It's an agenda that's hidden behind the guise of being conscious and being pro-black and things of that nature. But in all honesty, things will change, things will be exposed, people will wither away, and there'll be new poverty pimps coming through. And those of us who do not possess the ability or the discipline to seek out which is good will become victims of these people that really have nothing to offer other than feel good rhetoric. And that's what I'm changing. That's what I'm combating. That's what I'm here for, is to deliver something more based on reality than, hopes and dreams. Go back to nature for what? Go back to nature to do what? Our world has evolved. We have to be technological, just like everybody else. We can't just drink from any pond or water. It's not the same. There's issues within the environment that we have to have knowledge of, with a basic understanding of chemistry and biology, and able to deal with those situations. But there are people that will lead you to believe that everything can be solved by just believing, and to each their own. But that's just romanticization of things that are incorporated into chaos. And it's really self-loathing and misery that brings these people to the forefront, and only to victimize more people, because as the saying goes, misery loves company. And I think that if we really were out to help more people, like a lot of people say they are, then we wouldn't have the division that we have, that we see. I think if we encompass love, justice, courage, and things of that nature, we wouldn't have a lot of the issues that we deal with on YouTube. I understand, people want to perpetuate this division between the sexes, but we all have our worth. So there isn't no reason for us to think of gender as being something that could even perpetuate war. Everyone has their worth. Everyone is unique. Everyone has their own genome. You know what I'm saying? That's a little biological game I'm dropping. So your uniqueness, although it is stereotyped and umbrella under these conglomerates, you have to embrace your uniqueness. And I think that's where we fall short, or we lose sight. It's the uniqueness, it's the discipline, it's the ability to understand your uniqueness, not wanting to be part of a pack, but you know what I'm saying, contribute where you can. And I think that's where a lot of people, they want you to be like them, or they want to have control over you. But that's not our design. That's not our makeup. Our makeup is to be the best us, the best you, the best me. And for we are social beings. So for the rest of the world, it's for them to not only incorporate our welfare, in a positive light, but just to, if they can't better us, then, stay out the way. And that leads me to a misconception that's going around about the black woman being God. I don't see how anyone with the sixth grade education could spew such blasphemy out their mouth. Because when has creation ever been the creator. A woman is an aspect of creation. The black woman is an aspect of creation. The black woman could not exist without the sun, the land, the earth, the water, the air. But we know that the Most High, or God, or Allah, is omnipresent, omnipotent, meaning it's not dependent on anything but independent. So we could attack it from that. We could go into the fact that black women, as old as they may be, are still subjected to sales, elements, things of that nature. And there's a misconception going around that the women control the sex of the child. That is not true. It is the semen or the sperm that dictates whether you're going to have a boy or a girl. Only the sperm has the ability to make a child, a male. You can look this up. It's in periodicals all over the internet. So they do incubate and they do, house the child and bring the child into fruition. But the sperm determines whether that's a boy or a girl. And sperm is a part of man's genealogy. Not genealogy, but the man's sexual reproduction system. And, a lot of these brothers like to talk about this gene information, and it's really doing us no justice. I mean, they're not geneticists. They're just reading periodicals and, things of that nature. They're not really getting in depth into things. And that's the problem. We always want to scratch the surface and deem ourselves credible or, intellectuals. And it's really, it's really tasteless to, portray yourself as something you're not. And that goes back to the lack of discipline. But when you have that discipline, when you have that forward thinking and that understanding, you try less to control all that is around you, but contribute to what's around you. That's why I find myself giving rather than always trying to take. Everything in moderation. So, that's just my daughter hit me up. I got to go pick her up early in the morning, take her to get her car. That's the type of time I'm on. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing what, these people looking for gratification on YouTube. And I understand, it's a place where you can find certain things, but it's also a place where you can find yourself in a lot of trouble if you lack discipline. You will hear the weirdest and most craziest ideologies whatsoever. But then that's when your discipline comes into play, using logic and reasoning, rationalizing and understanding what is and what ain't. Being able to deal with certain situations that arise. You have to be a strong person. You have to be a strong individual. You have to have intestinal fortitude and a willingness and an understanding that, you're dealing with sometimes the lowest of the low. And they may not appear like that. But in reality, I mean, even, it's just like eyes open, shut. You still see them for what they are. And they're creatures of habit. And they embarrass themselves all the time. Surface level reasoning. No intellectual value whatsoever. But as long as they, incubate themselves and keep themselves within their little circles, I don't think it's really no harm. I mean, it's best that they be out the way and prey on one another. While us who are able and willing deal with the real matters that matter. It's like the thing is so much I could say, and it's so much to deal with when it comes to discipline. It's like you have to discipline yourself to see the world for what it is and not for what they tell you it is. For example, the term Africa, there is no Africa. There are countries over there. None of those people over there consider themselves to be the other people. I'll give you an example. Kenya is Kenya. Kenya is Kenya. Ethiopia is Ethiopia. They don't see themselves as the same people, but America have you to believe that they are, but they're not. Ethiopians are Ethiopians. Eritreans are Eritreans. Sudanese are Sudanese. Egyptians are Egyptians. Nigerians are Nigerians. People from Mali are Malians. So, I do know one thing. We don't have the courage or the understanding. We say that we're pro-black, but we allow ourselves to fall under this guise of white supremacy or systematic racism. And the whole thing is, what type of man would allow himself to say that someone is superior over him? Why wouldn't you eradicate the situation? What is your life worth if you're willing to be subjected to torment and torture? If you feel justly so that this is not the place for you, why would you stay and incorporate the ideas and use them and weaponize it against your own people? Why would you, in a sense, portray or poverty pimp or victimize the very people that you're supposed to be galvanizing and taking to this promised land? But the thing is, you're de facto. You are white supremacist in blackface. But I don't see the white people as supreme. I see the Most High as supreme. I see people making deals. I see people working together to make things happen. And I think if we incorporated that, if we worked together to make things happen, things would happen. But, you know, there's things like greed. There's things like animosity and hatred, you know, that prevent us from accomplishing certain goals. But that's where discipline comes into play. When you don't allow things like that, you don't allow your mind to think that white is supreme. When you don't allow racism to take you off your square, when you don't allow anger to separate you or make you hate self, when you don't allow your victimization to, you know, have you judge or perpetuate, you know, the same acts on someone else. Because I see a lot of people hurt, but I don't see any healers, any real healers. It's only people ready to prance on that and deal with that in a malicious way because they lack discipline. And people talk to an extent, and they always get stuck because they don't know how to go any further. And that's what I'm saying. Don't allow these shade tree dumbbells, dodo birds who can't even solve elementary algebra problems tell you that they're going to lead you to the promised land. It's just not going to happen. They lack skills. They lack integrity. They lack any qualities of value. What they do is they woo you with their words. They act like they align to your causes. But really, they're just setting you up to be victimized. They appear to be empathetic, and they may very well be empathetic. But as you can see, the empathy only goes as far as they are able to control the situation. allow yourself to place dominance over your so-called, savior, and see what happens. It won't end well. It won't end in your favor. See, the whole thing is about control. Some people feel as though they're not alive unless they're in control. I am the master of my faith and control of my destiny. I need not control anyone else. I try to be a beacon of light, therefore people gravitate and able to see how to be, as if what I'm showing is, something worth following. But at the same time, I do not wish to lead. I just wish to do my part, make this a better place. And that should be the goal of all men and women. And I think it takes a village to raise a child. I don't think. Okay, I got to get going. The food is here. Y'all have a great one. I'm sorry I'm cutting this so short. Hey, I'll be back with y'all, though. We're going to do this again. Y'all have a great evening. Good night. I appreciate everybody that came through.